Welcome to my video essay on transforming and exploiting genres. Let's get started. Genres are something we all know and love, and we all have our favourites, but do we truly understand them? Genres play a crucial role in storytelling as they establish the tone and mood from the very first scene, helping the audience instantly connect with the narrative. Genres also provide a way for filmmakers to communicate with viewers by using familiar conventions so we know what to expect. Richard Jameson states that genres isn't a word that pops up in every conversation, but the idea is second nature to the movies and our awareness of them. In other words, while we may not always use the term genre, the concept is deeply ingrained in how we understand films. Jameson further adds, name one of the classic bedrock genres and even the most casual moviegoer will come up with a mental image of it, highlighting how certain genres are so familiar that even casual viewers instantly have a clear idea of what to expect when they hear the name. Although, while genres are a very useful way to categorize films, what happens when they are subverted or transformed into something entirely new? In this video, we'll dive into the fascinating world of genres, how they can be defined, how they've evolved over time, and how filmmakers will use them to create stories that both challenge our minds and entertain us as an audience in unexpected ways. There are many genres out there, each offering a different experience for the audience. These are some of the most commonly used. Comedy is designed to humour us, focusing on funny scenarios that create laughter. This genre often features characters who are sarcastic and naive, those whose actions create the comedic situations. Along with this, we have the more mature character who usually has to take control. For example, in Identity Thief 2013, Melissa McCarthy's character is portrayed as being reckless and chaotic, whereas Jason Bateman's character comes across as more grounded and patient. The contrast between these two is what fuels most of the humour. Props used in comedies are usually there to exaggerate things. Food is commonly used to create humour in multiple ways, such as slipping on a banana peel or having a pie thrown in someone's face. This can be seen in the film Mrs. Doubtfire 1993, where Daniel uses a pie smeared over his face to disguise himself. At its core, comedy seeks to entertain and provide relief, making it one of the most beloved genres. Horror is a genre designed to evoke fear and tension, often through unsettling scenarios that keep the audience on edge. It typically centers around vulnerable protagonists who must confront their fears while being placed in terrifying situations, as the villain/monster embodies evil, creating the source of fear. For example, in Halloween 1978, Laurie Strode is introduced as innocent and responsible, instantly implying she is the protagonist. But as the film goes on, she is forced to survive a night and confront the terror of Michael Myers, whose emotionless presence symbolizes pure evil. This dynamic is what fuels the suspense, defining the genre. Props we will see are things like haunted objects, knives, and masks. For sound techniques, filmmakers will use eerie music or moments of silence followed by sudden jumps to heighten the sense of dread. The Conjuring 2013 uses these elements well, for example including a creepy doll and a music box, making an unsettling atmosphere. They also use silence followed by sudden bangs, making even mundane moments feel frightening. The horror genre creates fear, shock, and disgust, producing a strong emotional response from the audience. Romance is a genre centered around love and relationships, usually following two characters who form a deep connection. It explores the ups and downs of their journey with challenges like misunderstandings and jealousy, creating tension. Despite these obstacles, the characters eventually overcome them, strengthening their bond. For example, in The Notebook 2004, Noah and Ali's love is tested by time, society pressures, and personal differences, yet they find a way to reconnect and stay together. This genre often uses props like flowers and letters to enhance the romantic atmosphere. This is evident in Notting Hill 1999, particularly when William gives Anna a bouquet of flowers. Also, later on, Anna leaves a heartfelt note for William revealing her true feelings, further solidifying their relationship. At its heart, romance brings out feelings of hope and joy, offering audiences emotional fulfillment and reinforcing the power of love. Film genres have evolved significantly over time, adapting to new technology, cultural changes, and audience preferences. As genres expanded and blended, they created new subgenres, showing the creative growth and change in society. By looking at different periods in film history, we can see how filmmakers adjusted to new tech and audience expectations. From the 1890s to the 1920s, known as the silent era, filmmakers focused more on experimenting than creating specific genres. They mainly used slapstick comedy, drama, and adventure, relying on visual storytelling instead of complex plots. Early films appealed to everyone because they didn't need words. They used exaggerated facial expressions, title cards, and music to show emotion. Examples include A Trip to the Moon, 1902, a sci-fi film, and The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, 1920, an early horror film. The silent era helped shape many genres we recognize today. Between the 1920s to 1950s was the introduction of sound, which marked the beginning of a new era in film. The Jazz Singer, 1927, the first full-length sound film, changed filmmaking and sparked the growth of new genres focusing more on dialogue and music. Meanwhile, film noir also emerged in this time period. Movies like Double Indemnity, 1944, are defined by this genre. However, Robert Donati argues that film noir is not a genre. It is not defined, as are the Western and gangster genres, by conventions of setting, but rather the more subtle qualities of tone, suggesting film noir doesn't have a specific setting or plot, but is more about its dark moods and themes of moral uncertainty. Donati also says film noir is also a specific period of film history, like German Expressionism, suggesting he views film noir as something that marked a distinct time in filmmaking, like the German Expressionism, rather than a genre. The 1960s and 1970s saw a cultural revolution and explosion of creativity in film. Directors started experimenting with new narrative structures, visual styles, and social themes. Psychological horror and slasher films gained popularity, with movies like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974, pushing the boundaries of what could be shown on screen. Films became more graphic, exploring dark and more disturbing content. The 1980s to 2000s marked the rise of the blockbuster, with directors like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas creating high-budgeted films with universal themes. The action genre grew huge, with films like Die Hard, 1988, offering an adrenaline-pumping experience. During this time, filmmakers began to experiment with genre blending, creating hybrid films. A prime example is Pulp Fiction, 1994, which combines crime, comedy, and drama. This era also produced animated films, for example, Disney's The Lion King, 1994. Animation became a genre in itself, appealing to both children and adults. The 21st century has brought major changes to film genres, thanks to advances in digital technology and the rise of streaming platforms. These changes have given filmmakers the freedom to try new techniques and blend genres, resulting in more exciting and diverse films. Robert Donati observes that situations evolve or are updated, but stereotypes and archetypes always remain the same. For example, the hero, the villain, the attractive girl, good versus evil, the final showdown. Despite this, film genres have changed a lot since the silent era, constantly adapting to audience preferences. The way films are made and consumed has transformed over time, reshaping the entire landscape of cinema. Filmmakers use genres not just to meet audience expectations, but to surprise and challenge them. While every genre has its familiar themes and conventions, directors can choose to either work within those boundaries or deliberately go against them. By manipulating these genre elements, filmmakers can engage viewers on a deeper level, keeping them on their toes. A prime example of this is Shaun of the Dead 2004, which combines the zombie horror genre with comedy, creating a zomcom. While the film follows the basic structure of a zombie apocalypse, characters fighting to survive against zombies, it also adds absurd humor into the narrative. The blend subverts the traditional horror genre and its usual approach by turning moments that would typically be tense or terrifying into comedic gold. This method is also used in the film The Cabin in the Woods, 2012, which blends elements from multiple genres. It begins as a typical slasher film, but gradually shifts into supernatural horror, action, and even comedy. This genre switching transforms the film into something far more complex and unpredictable, subverting the audience's expectations. Filmers also tend to play around with conventions. Genre comes with familiar patterns that filmmakers use to set up expectations, only to later twist them. For example, in horror films we expect suspense, jump scares, and usually a final showdown with the monster. But filmmakers may surprise us by making this character sympathetic, forcing us to question who the real threat is. By breaking these genre rules, filmmakers challenge the audience's understanding of the genre and deepen their engagement with the film. often leading to a more memorable and emotional, powerful story. Lewis McGregor mentions one of the most initiative ways to use genre conventions is to make the audience think that they're going to receive X, but instead they get Y, implying that filmmakers can subvert expectations by setting up a familiar narrative or trope, only to surprise the audience with something completely different. This approach plays with viewers' assumptions, creating a sense of unpredictability. In conclusion, genres are more than just labels. They are powerful tools that shape the way we experience and understand films. From the early silent era to today's digital age, genres have evolved to reflect changes in culture, technology, and audience preferences. Filmmakers not only use genres to meet audience expectations, but also to challenge them. By manipulating genre conventions, directors push the limits of storytelling, offering a new way for us to engage with stories. Ultimately, the evolution and transformation of genres reminds us that film is constantly adapting, ensuring audiences always have something new to discover.